Hello, good evening, everyone. Some of you guys know me. I recognize some of my patients. And if you're new here tonight, we do this on a regular basis. And as Kitty said, we really strive to educate and empower our patients because it's a lot of times impossible for us to deliver the kind of information and understanding about a particular medical problem in a visit. Something that I've taken 20 years to learn, so in 15 minutes it's hard to condense down. So these talks really allow me to answer questions and elucidate on a major subject matter. So tonight, this is something common to all of us, correct? But it actually, stress is our ability to survive. And all living creatures were created and have in their body a system called the adrenal response. And have you ever heard called the fight or flight system? Okay, that's our ability to survive stress. And if we didn't have that, we would not be alive. And this is anatomically, genetically been in the human body for about hundreds of millions of years. So over these years, we've learned to accommodate, but what has changed? Our environment and our society, our living space has changed. So the series of chemical events that take place in your body when you get under stress, it allows us, like I said, to actually survive. But what happens when we're under chronic stress, we create this complete imbalance, and the homeostasis that we normally need to have gets very, very compromised, and a whole series of problems like illness take place, which you will learn about tonight. There are a lot of statistics out there that say that not even up to 90% of illnesses are caused by stress. And actually the number's probably somewhere around 70 to 80%, maybe even more today, because we are living in unprecedented times. We have chronic stress 24 hours a day. There isn't a time of the day that we are not experiencing stress. And so we've got to, now we're in 2008. For example, when did computers come out? Computers came out really just in the last 20 years, right? They came out in about 1984, give or take, and cell phones. Well, that's a whole nother stress. You don't think of it as a stress. You may think of it as a convenience. You may think it allows you to get your jobs done, but it really is a physical, mental, emotional stress to have extra electropollution around us. So I hope that tonight you learn a little bit on how to survive in this new world. As Kitty said, I'm the medical director, and I started practicing medicine about 22 years ago. And now we have a clinic in Irvine, and we try to get to the root cause of your illness. As opposed to putting a Band-Aid on a medical problem, we try to get to the root cause of your problem. It's like I tell my patients, if the warning light on the car is on, there's something wrong with your car, right? And you take it in immediately to go get it checked out, right? Well, if something's going on in your body, you have headaches, you have pain, you don't feel good, you're not sleeping, those are warning lights. Listen to your body, and that takes some quiet time, which Liliana will talk about tonight. But we need to really listen to our body and really pay attention to what's going on and take care of it and nurture and nourish it. So anyway, let's talk about stress. This is our medical group. These are just the practitioners in our office. We have 4 or 5 medical doctors, a physician assistant and nurse practitioner. Our nurse practitioner and physician assistant are just as qualified and function very much in a doctor role. They're very, very studied, and most of our practitioners are nurse practitioners and PAs are better than most doctors. This is our clinic. We created a clinic to create an aura of a healing environment. as opposed to the traditional medical doctor's office where you just go in and it kind of feels funny and it smells funny, and the exam rooms are kind of, I don't want to really be here. Nobody likes to go to the doctor. So we tried to create an environment that people feel comfortable, like you're at home. So if anybody knew that Oprah was diagnosed with a thyroid condition, which she relates to stress. Natural News, they did a study, and this is nothing new. They print it out like it's new, but it's nothing new, that stress accelerates the aging process. Then this is a very, very interesting study that was recently done. They actually took the cells out of a human being, putting in a petri dish, and they noticed that the effects of the cells outside of the body were affected by that person's emotions. So that's very, very interesting. So what is stress? Well, stress is a combination of responses in the body. A lot takes place. A whole cascade of events takes place. And it affects you mentally and physically. It's our body's adaptive response to deal with it, because you have stress every day. Everyone has stress every day. It's a normal part of the day. It's just we're not ready to deal with the tigers every day like we have to deal with. You know, an occasional tiger attacking you is okay, but not every day. So it can be short term, hopefully it is for you, and it can be chronic. A lot of my patients, I'll ask every cancer patient I have, every single cancer patient, they will tell you exactly why they have cancer and what caused their cancer. And it has been 100%, hands down, stress. They're taking care of their mother who has Alzheimer's, who finally died, or they are taking care of a sick child, some very, very, very incapacitating situation. And life is, you know, how we respond to it, and it's very, very difficult for all of us unless we're given the skills to deal with stress. Like I said, you heard the fight or flight. When you get in a car accident, what happens? Boy, the chemicals go off, the norepinephrine, the epinephrine, the cortisol, and your body goes into major chaos. Like I said, the chronic stress, it's not just taking care of somebody. You won't believe the stress that you have every day. From the time you turn on the television, what do they talk about? A chase, someone putting their daughter in that story in Australia or Austria and had 6 kids, or a robbery, or a terrible, disastrous weather event. It goes on and on. It's not a good idea to watch the news, really. First of all, you can't change it, and it's not going to change you, and it's not going to help you. I don't listen to the news. I'm not a news person. I don't want to hear it. I drive with my car, and I have nothing on. Traffic, we also, you know, drive in traffic here in Southern California. Noise, loud music. A Japanese man wrote a book called The Hidden Messages of Water. Have anyone heard of that book, Emoto? Hidden Messages of Water. You ought to get it. It's a small little book, very fast to read. You can read it very quickly. I read it to my children even. It's a fabulous book, but it talks about how everything that you do affects your living cells. And he did these studies on water with music. He took music and he exposed it to like hard rock music, and the crystals that formed in the water were really, they were misformed and not formed at all, whereas the crystals, if you played beautiful opera music, there was beautiful crystals. So it's fabulous, and the experiment has been reproduced. Electropollution. Do you know what electropollution is? Electropollution is all the electricity that we have around us, from lights to cell phones to computers. It's probably going to be the biggest disease affecting us in the 21st century. It's interesting, autism increased dramatically since cell phones and computers come out. That's just one more contributing factor.